ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So, chapter 9, Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga chapter, ended with Krishna saying, Arjuna, become a Madbhaktaha, Madchittaha, Manmanaha, and so on, my devotee. And so, chapter 10 is showing us how to become, Bhagavan's devotee and how to expand our minds to Aneka Bhaktihi, Vishwarupa Bhaktihi. So we have seen these terms, the para prakriti and apara prakriti, the twofold swarupa of Ishvara, how Ishvara has the higher changeless swarupa, that is pure consciousness, and apara is ever-changing matter principle and which expands into this vast jagat. Then we saw saguna and nirguna definitions. Saguna Brahma is, what we call deliberate adhyasa. Adhyasa, we have seen in the context of rope snake. That is erroneous adhyasa. I make a mistake and mistake one for the other out of ignorance. But when I deliberately superimpose Bhagavan on a piece of turmeric, on a shivalingam, on a shaligrama, for the sake of upasana, that is called deliberate adhyasa. So that is why shaligrama, I can take a concrete, fossilized stone and superimpose, this utkrishta bhavana of Mahavishnu. Or on turmeric, Ganesha, or Satyam Shivam Sundaram Ishvara on Shivalingam. So this is called Saguna Brahma Upasana. That is worship of Ishvara by taking the help of a name, a form, a guna, and attributes. Whereas Nirguna Dhyanam is definitely more challenging and more difficult, because how can one relate to the changeless, invisible, formless, timeless Swarupa of Ishvara? So Saguna Brahma Upasana will prepare the mind for the higher stage of Nirguna Dhyanam, which is achieved by Jnana Yoga, Shravanam, Mananam, and Nidhi Dhyasanam. And so, here we have seen in chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga chapter, Krishna says, these are my Vibhutis, Visheshena Bhavanam, special glories and manifestations by yoga. Yoga stands for Yoga Maya. Look at the power of my Maya and how many glorious manifestations there are in the world, both para and apara. So Krishna is going to give a list. But before that, he unfolds his nature and his glory. And so Krishna says in shloka number 8, which is Aham sarvasya prabhavaha matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Arjuna, know me as the essence of the entire creation. I am the prabhavaha, I am the source. The whole Srishti manifests from me. Then I am the middle. I sustain the Srishti. And I am also the Layakarta. The whole Srishti will wrap up and fold back into me. So then Krishna praises his devotees and says, those devotees who have Nishkama Bhakti, who are Matchittaha, Matgataha, no, and Manmanaha, Matgata Pranaha. So my devotees are always singing my glory, are spreading the word, are helping others, and are pursuing the knowledge, Tattvataha, the highest knowledge, which is Rajavidya and Sankhya. So they are, always narrating Kathayantaha, Bodhayantaha, and they're always happy. They don't find fault with the world, yeah, and they don't grumble and they don't demand and expect. So these are my Nishkama Bhaktas. Now, what do I do for them? Krishna explains beautifully in the 10th and the 11th shloka there, also which we saw. तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगन्तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते तेषाम् एवानुकम्पार्थम् अहमज्ञानजं तमः नाशयाम्यात्मभावस्थः ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता. So for those bhaktas, what will I do for them? I will destroy the avidya in their minds. I will light up their intellects. Buddhi yogam dadami. I will take care of their yogakshema. I will give them opportunities and to pursue this Rajavidya. And I will remove all those obstacles standing in the way. And I do this anukampartham, out of compassion. So this is Bhagavan's grace upon these Nishkama Bhaktas. No? And he says, I light the lamp of wisdom. Jnana Deepena Bhasvata. I destroy the darkness. Then after that, Arjuna is, curious. Now he knows that Krishna has some kind of Mayikam Shariram. This Krishna is not just my friend, Sakha. Much more than that. So Arjuna says that, how can I contemplate on you, Krishna? You are so vast, you're so deep, you're limitless. But in what forms can I contemplate upon you and, understand you? So Arjuna is asking about the Saguna Brahma Upasana. How to do that? Katham vidyamaham yogin tvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. How are you chintyaha? How are you to be contemplated upon? In which all, vibhutis, keshu keshu, can you tell me, hey Yogeshwara? And then we see that Sri Bhagavan from 19th shloka, he responds to Arjuna's request up to the 39th shloka and gives a list of vibhutis, that is wonders and special manifestations drawn from our rich literature, itihasa, Puranas, and we would be familiar with most of them. Now, these forms, why are they important for us? Because they are a crutch. They are an aid for the mind, alambanam, for the mind to dwell upon, to Bhagavad Chintanam. See, if we did not have, these forms like Namaste with the hands, or Namaskara, Sashtanga Namaskaras, or Pradakshinas in the temple, or lighting a lamp, or offering Arghyam to the sun. So Pujya Swamiji will say, without forms, that which is embodied, the spirit, will not be there anymore. So the spirit will also disappear in no time. So Pujya Swamiji would say, at least every day, do some minimum forms, be devoted. Light one lamp, offer one flower, chant one mantra, do one namaskara. That is enough. You need not do elaborate 40 archanas, if you think you don't have time. So that is the importance of Vigraha. The word Vigraha means Visheshena Grihyate Atmatattvam Anena Iti. That by which one is able to grasp the invisible Aprameya Atmatattvam is through the finite name and form and attributes. And Shankaracharya says this is for the Madhyama Bhaktas, like us. So Madhyama Bhaktas are those who are striving on the path of Jnanam and who cannot jump directly to the highest level of Nirguna Dhyana. So we have to continue with Saguna Brahma Upasana. The other day when I was going to class last Tuesday, then on the way I saw one person on a two-wheeler. And he was still sitting on the two-wheeler and which was parked outside a Hanuman temple on my way. And his eyes were closed and his hands were folded. So we could see that he was praying very intensely. But the temple was closed. Shrine was closed. The main gate was open. It was going to open, I think. And I also did namaskara. Whenever I pass, I do my namaskaras and say Jai Shri Ram and go on my way, to class. So who was this person worshipping? The temple is closed. He's really worshipping his own Atma. Yeah? He's taking connection with that Supreme, which is indwelling the heart, and through that symbolic act of doing a namaskara. We find many people know on the way, they will do namaskara to the rising sun, or they will touch the ground. So all this is part of Vishwarupa Bhakti. Now, let us see what all glories Krishna is going to unfold from 20 onwards. So the 20th verse we saw that the list opens with the Parama Prakriti glory. Ahamatma Gudakesha Sarvabhuta Shayasthitaha Ahamadischa Madhyancha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. So Krishna starts with the Nirguna glory. So the Nirguna glory is nothing other than the self-evident, self-shining, glorious Atma shining in the hearts of all. And Krishna says, Aham Adihi. I am the source, I am Madhyama, I sustain, and I am Anta. I am Layakarta, hold back. So that is the glory first mentioned in the 20th shloka. Because it is so close to us, no? It is oneself. So each one of us is a vibhuti because, we are all essentially Ishvara Tattvam. Then from 21 onwards, Krishna is going to talk about the Apara Prakriti glories. Okay? Now, for that, I will display another file. Apara Prakriti is, as I said, drawn from our literature, of Puranas and Itihasas and so on. So here there is a whole list we are going to see. The first one, from 21, I will read mostly the verses and explanations are on the screen. Adityanamaham Vishnuhu Jyotisham Raviram Shuman Marichir Marutamasmi Nakshatranamaham Shashim. Adityanam. Of all the 12 Adityas, I am Vishnu, or even Vamana we can say. Then Jyotisham Ravihi Amshuman. And the luminaries in the sky, you meditate upon me as Aditya, the sun, who is Amshuman. Amshu means rays, with the infinite rays coming out. That would be Saguna Brahma Upasana. Then 49 Maruts. Maruts are wind bodies. So out of the 49 wind bodies, know me as one called Marichihi, who is a very special form of, Vayu, which is very pleasant. Then Nakshatrana, constellations, I am the moon, which tells us the Tithi and which is shining, gives us the light at night. And becoming Soma, it energizes the earth with herbs. Then 22, Vedanam Samavedosmi Devanam Asmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Anaschasmi Bhutanam Asmi Chetanam. The 4 Vedas, I am the Samaveda. And Samaveda, it has got the Chandogya Upanishad, where we have the unfoldment of Mahavakyam Tattvamasi by Uddhalaka to his son, Shvetaketa, 9 times. Then, Devanam, of all the Devas, who am I? I am Devendra, Indra, the chief. And of all the senses, Indriyanam, Manaha cha Asmi, I am the mind. And Bhutanam, of all the Bhutas, I am the Chetana, the sentience. Yeah? Now, here when Krishna says, there are 4 Vedas, why does Krishna select Samaveda? Because all the Vedas are special. Rig Veda is the oldest Veda. But in the 3 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Atharvana, the mantras are chanted, recited. But in the Samaveda contains the Gandharva Vidya, the musical mantras which are sung. So you would have heard in temples when they offer the Samaveda mantras, then it's very, very musical. Samaveda. Then upon all the Indriyana, the senses, why is the mind superior? Because the mind has to empower the senses. So the mind is more powerful. Only the sentient mind can activate the sense organs. And Bhutanam, of all the Bhutas, there are Jada, Chetana. Now, the inert objects, they cannot feel or express, no Sukshma Shariram, but there is Chetana only in the Chetana Vastus. So that is glorified here. Then 23rd, Rudranam Shankaraschasmi Vittesho Yaksha Rakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Merushikarinamaham. There are 11 Rudras. So I am Shankaraha. Shankaroti iti Shankaraha. There are some fierce Rudras also. So Shankara is the benign one of the 11 Rudras and the grantor of moksha also. Then of all the Rakshasas and the Yakshas, I am Kubera. Vitteshaha, Kubera is the treasurer. So we all are in need of Kubera. Wealth is very important. Then Vasus. Out of the Vasus are the Devatas of the directions. I am the Agni Devata. Agni is Pratyaksha Devata and purifies all the negativities. Then Shikharinamaham. Of all the mountains which have peaks, I am Meru. Now this Meru has got many interpretations. The Hatha Yoga Shastra says Meru is really our spinal column, Meru Danda, or it's the North Pole. Some say it's Mount Everest. But it's considered the, that center of the universe, Meru. Then, Purodhasam cha mukhyam mam vidhi partha brihaspatim senani namaham skandaha sarasamasmi sagaraha. Of all the priests, who am I? Meditate on me in the form of Brihaspati, who is the Guru of Indra. And of all the commanders in chief, or in the celestial lokas, I am Skanda, Kartikeya. And of all the natural water reservoirs, I am the mighty ocean. So see here it says that Skanda, is the son of Shiva and Parvati. So the word is Skanda. But in Tamil Nadu, what do we say? Kanda. We say Kanda Shashti, Kanda Swami, thanks to DMK, I think. So this Sa is swallowed up. But the real word is Skandaha. Skanda Shashti is chanted, and Skanda is the commander-in-chief. And so Krishna says, meditate on me as the courageous commander-in-chief Skanda and the ocean. We know the story of Sagara, King Sagara, and then his great-great-grandson, Bhagiratha, who invoked and brought the Ganga down to revive the ashes of his ancestors. And then Gangaji descended and then went on to form the Sagara. And we see the ocean is such an important symbol for us to connect to the Purnatvam in Vedanta. And the Sthita Prajna's mind is compared to the ocean. And ocean is very important in Vedanta also. So for all these reasons, Krishna says, you meditate upon me. These are all my vibhutis. Then 25, Maharshinaam Briguraham Giramasmekamaksharam Yajnanam Japayajñosmi Stavaranam Himalayah. Now there are so many Maharishis, yeah, and like Vasishtha is there, Valmiki, so many Maharishis are there. So why is Brigu, standing out here? Maharshinam Brigu Aham. Now, Brigu is a son of Varuna and has a special mention in the Taittiriya Upanishad, which hopefully we'll study next. So, one day Brigu goes to his father and says, Father, you keep, praising Brahma. But what is Brahma? How can I discover Brahma? Then the father Varuna gives him a clue. He says, Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yam prayantya visamvishanti tad vijijñāsasva. Taittiriya mantra. Father says, my dear son, you go and meditate. That from which the beings have manifested, by which the beings are sustained, protected, and into which the beings are going to return. That is Brahma. Vijijñāsasva. Now you experiment and meditate. So the Brigu keeps going back and forth. And finally, what does he understand? Anando brahmeti pijanat anandat heva khalvimani bhutani jayante. Says that is Ananda. Ananda Atma. And by whose grace beings manifest, they are sustained and they return to Ananda Atma. So for those reasons, Brigu is highlighted here. Not that other rishis are less important. Vyasacharya, Shankara, and Vasishtha are all very, very important. Then of all the Giram, Giraha is the word for words. Meditate on me, Arjuna, as Ekam Aksharam. What is that Ekam Aksharam? Om. Om has 3 syllables, 3 aksharas, akara, ukara, makara, but it is called monosyllable akshara Om. It's called Shabda Brahma, designation for Brahma. And we have seen the importance of Om in Katha Upanishad, in Rama Gita, how the Om covers the whole Saguna, Jagat, Rupam, and Nirguna. Akara, Ukara, Makara are the 3 states. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha, and Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and the trailing silence. Om. That is Nirguna. Very, very powerful mantra. So Krishna says, you dwell upon me as Om. Then Yajnanam Japa Yajnaha Asmi. Of all the Yajnas, we have seen 12 Yajnas in chapter 4, remember? Swadhyaya Yajna, Pranayama Yajna. So many offerings we can make. Disciplines, austerities. But Japa Yajna is very important, Krishna says. Why? Because we feel the effect instantly. When I do japa of any mantra, instantly I can experience the Drishtaphalam. I calm down and I become very close to the deity whose mantra I am repeating. Whereas if we do Dhanam or some Vedic ritual, the phalam is somewhat delayed. We will get it little later. But Japa Yajnaha happens very close in my own mind and reveals the presence very quickly. Then Stavaranam Himalaya. This is the pride of Bharat. The Himalayas, the youngest mountains, snow-capped, of all the stationary entities. Stavaranam. And Krishna continues to the trees now. And says, Ashvatha sarva vrikshanam devarshinam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitrarataha siddhanam kapilo munihi. Of all the trees, now we know how sacred these trees are, Ashvatha and Neem. Yeah, and we have seen its significance in chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita and Kathopanishad. No, Urthamoolamadarsakam Ashwatham Prahurak. Yeah, that Vrikshaha is praised. But Ashwathaha really means what? Shvaha na tishtati iti Ashwathaha. That which will not be here tomorrow. So the tree has a name which means temporary. So the worldly life is compared to an Ashwatha tree because it is constantly changing. Ashwathaha. Then Devarshicha Naradaha. Now of all the Maharishis and Devalokas, Narada. Now Narada, we know, needs no visa to go anywhere. No, he is so well informed in the 64 kalas. Bhuta Vidya, Preta Vidya, Vyakaranam, then astronomy and Sahityam, all. And yet, one day he goes to Sanat Kumara and says, my mind is sad. How do I remove the sadness which comes and goes? Then Sanat Kumara says, Atmavit Shokam Tarati, you have mastered so many Vidyas and Kalas, but that Atma Vidya you have to gain. So, Devarshi Nancha Naradaha, meditate upon me in the form of Narada Devarshi. Then Gandharvanam Chitrarataha. So, Chitrarataha is a special Gandharva in a loka, a special, celestial who excels in the arts. And Siddhanam Kapilo Muni. So there was a Muni called Kapilaha who was a Siddha Purushaha. Now this Kapila is not the Sankhya philosophy Kapila. That's a different Kapila Muni. Okay. Next, 27. Uchchai Shravasamashvanam Vidhim amritodbhavam Vidhimam amritodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Chanaradhipam. Now here we find there are some mention of the 14 jewels which emerged from the Samudra Mathanam story of the Bhagavatam. One of them is Uchchaishravas, that is the divine horse, which I think was given to Indra. So this beautiful white horse. And then Vidhi Mam Amritodbhavam. From that Amrita Mathanam, this white horse. Then Gajendranam Airavatam. Airavatam was an elephant called Airavatam that emerged. So many things. 14 jewels, Dhanvantri, Mahalakshmi, Tulasi, and Kamadhenu, all that. But here, next Vibhuti is Naranamcha Naradhipam. Who's a Naradhipaha? The king. See how much power an administrator or the chief or the king has. So he is not ordinary. Amongst all the human beings, you meditate upon me as on the Raja. Then 28 onwards. Ayudhanamaham vajram dhenu Asmi Kamadhuka Prajanaschasmi Kandarpaha Sarpanamasmi Vasukihi Ayudhanam Vajram. Of all the weapons, I am and the Vajra, Indra's thunderbolt. Then of all the cows, Dhenunam, I am Kamadhuk. Then we all know Kamadhuk is the wish-fulfilling cow. And really the figurative meaning is our own mind. The mind is the wish-fulfilling Kalpavrikshaha, Kamadhenu, when it is mastered and purified. Then, Prajanascha Kandarpaha. So, I am Cupid. I am Kamadeva, Kandarpaha. The Lord that we pray to as the god of romance and love. Then, Sarpanam Asmi Vasukihi. No? And Vasuki is the poisonous snake, which was also used to churn the Amrita, Sagara, and that was the divine Vasuki. Then, Anantaschasmi Naganam Varuno Yadasamaham Pitrinam Aryamachasmi Yamasayamatamaham. Anantaha. Sheshanaga, that is as Puja Swamiji would say, the first coiled mattress for Mahavishnu, is Anantaha. Then Varunaha Yada Samaham. And I am the Varuna, the wind. Water. Varuna is the lord of water bodies. And I am Varuna Devata. Then Aryama. Aryama is believed to be the chief of the loka where the ancestors go. So if you want to connect, if you want to meditate on that, meditate on Aryama, the lord of the Pitriloka, who governs that loka. And then I am Dharmaraja Yamaha, Sanyamatamaham, who does Sanyama. Sanyama means discipline. So Yama is the one who is waiting for everybody and who dispenses the justice to all. Prahaladaschasmi daityanam kalah kalayatamaham mriganancha mrigendroham vainateyascha pakshinam. So the divine child Prahalada was born in the Daitya Kula, Hiranyakashipu, and we all know the story how he won the heart of Mahavishnu, who protected him, assuming the terrible Narasimha Avatara. Then Kalaha, I am the very time. Now how the time is Sarva Bhakshakaha. The time is following slowly but surely everything. So you meditate on me as time. And how I am the essence of time, timelessness. And then Mriganamcha Mrigendro Ham. Who is Mrigendraha? The majestic lion, the lord of the jungle. And Vainateyahacha Pakshinam. And of all the birds, the most glorious one is, the eagle, Garuda, and who flies very high and at an amazing speed. Then 31. Pavana Pavatamasmi Ramashastra-Vritamaham Jashanam Makaraschasmi Srotasamasmi Janhavi. Pavatam are of all the purifiers. Pavanam Karoti. So many things purify. Yeah, in water purifies, air purifies, Agni purifies, no? But of all of them, I am Pavanaha, I am Agni. Because Agni has a power to purify even in a subtle way. No? The subtle mess or the confusion also, Agni can purify. Then Rama Shastra Bhritamaham, of all the Shastra Bhrits, of all the armed people, I am Sri Rama. And this is very common vibhuti for us to meditate on. So when we meditate on Rama, we meditate on that Yasmin Sarve Ramanti, in whom all revel. So Rama also stands for that Atma Rama Nanda. So even before Rama Avatara came, that significance of Rama Shabda is there. Yasmin Sarve Ramanti, in whom all rejoice. Then Jashana, aquatic, of all the aquatic creatures, look at the shark or the crocodile, meditate upon their beauty and meditate upon their power. I had been to one crocodile park in Chennai. I'm sure Chennai people know that. Amazing. First time I went there recently, 6 months ago. Huge, you don't want to be around. And they look like they're sunbathing, but in an instant, they will just open their mouth and grab something nearby or travel huge speeds, So amazing natural creature. Then Srotasam Asmi Jannavi. Jannavi is a name for Ganga. And among all the rivers, meditate on me as Ganga. And we know there's a deeper significance, that is Jnana Ganga. The mind has to flow towards the source and goal, that is Atma. Just as the Ganga is flowing towards Ganga Sagaram. There's a beautiful story. Once Kalidasa was asked by somebody, which is the most sacred river? in Bharat. So Kalidasa says Yamuna. Yamuna? How come you say Yamuna? Because, you, my lord, you have played on its banks. Yamuna Tira Vihari, Vrindavana Sanchari, Govardhana Giridhari, Gopala Krishna Murari. That is why it is sacred. Okay. But what about Ganga? Ganga is not a river. Ganga is Ma. It's mother. Ganga Ma. She is a divine Devi, and that story illustrates the importance. So it is also said all the rivers are sacred. Narmada, Godavari, Kaveri is the Ganga of the south, Tungabhadra and Sringeri. All the rivers have, cultural significance, and even outside Bharat, Nile, Amazon, all these rivers. But Ganga is given a special importance because all those who want knowledge, the jnanis, they are said to live by the Ganga. And those who are tapasvis, who do tapas, they live by the Narmada. And the Narmada is considered a very difficult river also, passing through mountainous terrain. So these are some of the important rivers. Then, Sarganam, next, Loka. Sarganamadirantashcha madhyanchaivaaham arjuna adhyatma vidya vidyanam vada pravadatamaham. So now he says, Sarganam adihi antaha cha madhyama. So Sarga means Srishti, this creation. So all the creations, I am the source, I am the cause of Srishti, and then once manifested, I am also taking care, Sthiti, I'm doing. And Laya, when the time is over. When the duration is over, I fold back the Srishti into me. So you meditate upon this Jagat Karanam, Sthiti Karanam, Laya Karanam, and then Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, of all the disciplines of knowledge, I am Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya. Now we have seen earlier also, how this Apara Vidya, you take any Apara Vidya connected to the world, it is never ending. The more we know about Apara Vidya, we stay ignorant. We will never know everything about an Apara Vidya. But not so with Paravidya. Paravidya is the knowledge of the whole, gaining which na avashishyate. Nothing remains to be desired. That is the knowledge of Satyam Brahma, and that is the Purnatvam. It is not that a jnani will know the special languages and everything, all the capitals of every country is no. But the Brahma Vidya is the knowledge of that significant one. Whereas all the Apara Vidyas are like the trailing zeros. So gaining that by which everything is as good as known is what is being praised here, Adhyatma Vidya. Then Vada Pravadatamaham, of all the kinds of discussions. So Shastra mentions, 4 kinds of discussions. Vada, Samvada, Jalpaha, Vidanda. So Vada is like a discussion amongst equals, amongst friends or colleagues. Samvada between a guru and shishya. Gita Arjuna Samvada. Then Jalpa is when we want to prove somebody is wrong. Yeah, so we are arguing vehemently. No, and we are just clinging to our point of view. Jalpa. And the last is the most malicious, Vidanda. Vidanda is mudslinging and trying to really hurt another person. So obviously Krishna will choose either Vada or Samvada. That is, the healthy discussions that happen for the sake of discovering the truth, or even amongst equals when we do brainstorming, or when the Shishyas, we all discuss some tattvam, some doubt through Mananam. That is my Vibhut. Then 33. Aksharanam karosmi dvandvasamasika cha ahameva kalaha dhataham vishwatomukaha. Now Krishna comes to the language, Deva Bhasha. and says of all the aksharas in the Varnamala, I am a. Yeah, akaraha. Now, this This is so important. The moment we open the mouth, what sound comes out? A. And can we pronounce any consonant without a? No. It will get stuck in the throat. I have to say ka, kha, ga, gha. Without a, it's not possible. Whereas a crow, and cow, they don't say a. They'll say ma or ka, ka. But a human being, the acoustics is such that a is the basic sound. But in the north of India, they'll say Ram, Sham. So the will be cut off. Whereas we have to say Rama, Shama correctly. And in south, they'll say Raman, Shaman, Ramanaka, like that. But in Maharashtra, I've seen that is beautifully pronounced. It is neither too hraswa nor too dirgha. They'll say Rama, Shama. They give it that 1 second kshanam time to pronounce. Very nice to see that. So Bhagavan praises and says, meditate upon me as the akshara a. Then dvandva samasikasya cha. And this is a little, meant more for Sanskrit students here. Samasa. Now samasa means compounds. Now in Vyakaranam we have different kinds of compounds. Bahuvrihi, Tatpurusha, Karmadharya, and so on. Dvandva. So Krishna is praising the Dvandva Samasa. Dvandva Samasa is when, the 2, 3 or more words which are clubbed into one word have equal status. Like Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. All 4 are clubbed together. Or Shoka Moha. We see in the Gita, Shoka Moha, Shoka and Moha. Or Ragadvesha. Ragadvesha, these are all Dvandva Samasas. Yeah? And so, Krishna says in all the other compounds, either the first word will be more important, Pradhana, or second word, or they mean something else. There is a story of Rameshwaraha. You may have heard. Rameshwaram is the Tirtha Kshetram for us. Where Sri Rama worshipped the Shivalingam after the victory over Ravana. But there was a doubt. What is meant by Rameshwaraha? So when people went to Shiva and asked, can you explain this compound Rameshwara? Shiva says, Ramaha Ishwaraha Yasya Sa. For whom, I am the Lord. So that is Rama. Then when they went to Mahavishnu and said, can you please clarify Rameshwaraha? Then Mahavishnu says, Ramasya Ishwaraha, Tatpurusha compound. So the Lord of Rama, that is Shiva. Then now all the people go to Brahmadeva and say, can you please explain Rameshwaraha? Then Brahmadev gives the Dvandva Samasa explanation and says, Ramaha cha, Ishwaraha cha asau. That is, both are equally important. Rama in his glory, Ishvara, Shiva in his glory. So, Dvandva Samasa is, language vibhuti here. Then, Ahameva Akshayaha Kalaha. I am the principle of time. Yeah. And which is inexhaustible. It is Akshaya. Because it is continuous. Continuously, there, time and tide wait for no one, it is said. So, whatever we have to do today, let us do it today and not postpone. And so, meditate upon me as time. Then, Dhata Aham Vishwato Mukhaha. I am the Dhata. And here, the Dhata is the Lord. Yeah. Vishwato Mukhaha means the one who is looking everywhere. So, who is keeping track of all our actions and adrishta, drishtapalam, papa, punyam? It is I, Krishna says, as karma phala data, Ishvara. So you meditate on that. Then 34. It's quite a list here, but by no means exhaustive. मृत्यु सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्तिश्रीर्वाक्च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिः क्षमा. I am Mrityuhu, which is Sarvaharaha. Now, the Mrityuhu puts an end to everything means only to the prarabdha of this janma. So, the death is that which intervenes between two janmas. We know that because Sukshma Sharira is going to travel. Then, Udbhavaha cha bhavishyatam. That which is going to manifest, the potential that lies, you can meditate on that. From the unmanifest, again, something will manifest. I am that. Then, now we have some feminine shabdas. Kirtihi, Shrihi, Vak, Smritihi, Medha, Dhritihi, Kshama. And all these are beautiful qualities. Fame, wealth, and speech. Anugraha Saraswati, memory power, Medha, power to retain. Then courage, Kshama, forbearance. Yeah? So all of these, this is art. So here Krishna is talking about the internal manifestations and implying that whatever talent one enjoys, whatever skill, whatever Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, know that it is from me. So that is why in our culture we have the practice of attributing to somebody else. We say, oh, it is all Guru's grace, Elder's grace, Bhagwan's grace. I accomplished this. I built my own home. I recovered from an illness. I passed my exams. I got admission in a university. So we say it is all the grace, that has protected me and so on. That is meant here, that maybe not appropriate credit and become arrogant, but forward all the praise to, a higher source. Then 35, Brihat Sama Tatha Samnam Gayatri Chandasamaham Masanam Margashishoham Ritunam Kusumakaraham. Brihat Sama. Again, this is a Sama mantra. One Sama mantra is called Brihat Sama. And amongst all the meters, I am Gayatri. There is no Gayatri Devi. Sometimes we find posters. There is no Gayatri Devi. Gayatri is the name of a meter, 24 syllables. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. And that is the meter. Chandasam. Chandasam means among the meters. Then Masana Margashirshaha Aham. We're all mostly aware of this beautiful month. Comes around mid-December. Margari Masam Margashirshaha. It is said that when we are celebrating this Margashirsha Masam, we get up early and we adorn the Devatas, and it's a very hectic time for most of us. That is the Brahma Muhurta time for the Devatas. And that is why it is so extra auspicious. Then Ritunam Kusumakaraha. Of all the seasons, and the best one is the flower season, flower bearing season, that is spring. The other seasons also have their special qualities. Summer brings mangoes, and then the Varsha Kala, all these have special qualities, but one of them Krishna is picking up here. Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi Tejas Tejasvinamaham Jayosmi Vyavasayosmi Sattvam Sattvavatamaham. Now, Krishna says, you can meditate on me as the gambler. Dyutam. And I am the Tejas in all the shining ones. I am the glory. Wherever anything excels, be it the sun, and be it a child in a patashala, you can see the shine in the face. I am the Tejas. I am the victory of those who put effort. I connect the Vyavasaya, effort, with Jayam. And then Sattvam Matamaham. I am the Sattva Guna in those who are sattvic. One explanation I read about the Dyuta. See, the gambler, what will they do? They will take a risk, right? They will not just stay in their comfort zone. So, Bhagavan is saying, for somebody to prosper, let's say you're an entrepreneur, or you want to start an NGO or a business, or you want to travel. So, some risk has to be taken. So, when life itself is a gamble, then by trusting Ishvara, we can, take risk now and then, calculated risks, so that we can make progress, either financially or spiritually also. That is the meaning we can connect them. Vrishninam vasudevosmi pandavanam dhananjayaha muninamapyaham vyasah kavinam ushana kavihi. Now Krishna is going to praise Arjuna himself and says, Vrishninam, in the Vrishni Kula, praises himself first, Vasudeva. So look at my avatara, Krishna avatara, is it not special? So you can meditate on the Krishna's lifetime, Krishna Vigraha. Then among the 5 Pandavas, you are famous, Arjuna, as Dhananjaya. You are compassionate, you are sensitive, you are brave, you are ambidextrous. So you can also be meditated upon. And then Muninam, among all the Munis, the great Vyasacharya. We know the greatness of Vyasacharya, whose Jayanti we celebrate on Guru Purnima, and who has this tremendous contribution, 18 Puranas, compilation of the Vedas, Mahabharatam, and so on. Kavina Ushana Kavihi. So Ushana was one more great Kavihi also. And also some people refer to him as the Shukracharya also. Then we have the last few here. Dando damayatam asmi nitirasmi jagishata maunam chaivasmi guhyanam jnanam jnanavatamaham. I am the danda. Danda is the rod. The rod of punishment. That is dharma. The rod of punishment, that is the karma phalam, will be attributed. One will be connected, and that is the dandaha. Niti rasmi jigishatam. Niti means strategic. The strategies. So those who are jigishatams, who desire victory, I am in the form of niti. The correct way. Niti. Then Guhyana, amongst all the secrets, I am silence. If you want to keep something secret, you should not give it out even to your best friend. And if you tell somebody, don't mention it to anybody, that becomes a password. And it will just spread in no time. But it's very difficult to keep a secret. So, Maunam, Chup Sadhana. Maunam is the Guhyana. So, Krishna is saying, when we are silent, then we can discover the presence of Ishvara in one's own heart. Then Jnanam Jnanavatamaham. I am in the form of knowledge of those who are knowledgeable. Jnanavatam. Then. And now Krishna says in the end, I am silence, I am the wisdom of those pursuing Atma Vidya. And with that, we have completed the Apara Prakriti Vibhutis. So now, in the 39th verse, Krishna comes back to the Para Prakriti. And what does Krishna say? Yachapi sarva bhutanam. Yachapi sarva bhutanam. Tada bijam tadaham arjuna natadasti vina yatsyat maya bhutam characharam. So Krishna says there is no being, chara or achara, that can exist without me. Yeah. Let me just. So, '39. Huh? So here, Krishna is referring to which aspect of para? Sat aspect. And says, I am the Sat. So whatever exists, be it Chara or Achara, I am the Adhara, I am the Sat Vastu. And then we have the 40th verse, Nantosmi Mama Divyanam Vibhutinam Parantapam Nantosmi. Is it the right one? No. Nantosmi Mama Divyanam Vibhutinam Parantapa Eshatu Deshatah Proktaha Vibhuter Vistaro Mayam. Now, Arjuna, I have given you a list. Yeah. But it is only pradhanyataha, important ones, and it is by no means exhaustive. But wherever you find anything awesome, anything awesome and which is inspiring you, you can add to the list. Yat yat vibhuti matsattvam srimadurjitameva va tattadeva vagachatvam mamatejonsha sambhavam. So wherever there is beauty or glory, richness, power, urja, that is a portion of my splendor. Then final verse, what does Krishna say here? Athava bahunaytena kinyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyahamidam kritsnam ekamshena sthito jagat. So, you see, Krishna says here that Arjuna, the message here is to Ishvarize everything. Whether it is buddhi, kshama, kirti, shrihi, internal manifestation, sukham, dukham, or anything external, be it the animal, the bird, the celestial, the human being, they are all my manifestations. So this is what Swamiji says, Ishvara is everything, bring Ishvara into one's life. All that is here is Ishvaraha. So acknowledging, appreciating Ishvara in everything is intelligent living. And then the last verse, Krishna says, but what use is all this to you, Arjuna? This list that I've given you, it is not complete. There's only a few, vibhutis, and that too from the ancient Puranas and Itihasas. Modern vibhutis are also there, and you can meditate on any one. But even then, will you know me completely? No, because this entire Jagat, Brahmanda, 14 lokas, Aham Vishtabhya Eka Amshena. That is just by one pada, that is one portion of me, I am upholding this entire Jagat. What about the rest? The rest is vast, limitless, infinite nature. That is my para prakriti swarupaha. Do you know that? Don't you want to know that? So gain the knowledge of the whole and gain the knowledge of me who am avyayam and para prakriti swarupaha, satyam brahma. Whereas all these are mithya jagat. Important for upasana, but then you have to go on and complete the journey to nirguna brahma dhyan. See, even science tells us this, that each one of us is 1 out of 7 billion on the planet. And the 8 planets are going around one star, which is just 1 out of trillions of stars. Then the Milky Way galaxy is 1 out of trillions and billions of galaxies. And you see, all of them are moving. The Earth is spinning on its axis and around the sun. Then the solar system is spinning. Milky Way galaxy is also moving. And so we are moving along with everything, although everything looks very stable. So who is doing all this? So Krishna says this is the cosmic interconnectedness and the cosmic intelligence, and that is my order. So with that, this chapter 10 is concluded, and it is about Vishwarupa Bhakti. How to see everything as divine. Now Arjuna is going to ask one more question, and that is, Krishna, all these forms that you described and glorified, can I see them all at once in your body? So, can you reveal your form? I want to see your form, which includes everything. So, Arjuna asks the question, and that is the content of the next chapter 11, which is Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga chapter 11. Okay? And we will see that in the next session. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om